Hello friends, today we will discuss indeterminate forms. Okay, there are 7 indeterminate forms. First 0 by 0, infinity by infinity, 0 into infinity, infinity minus infinity, 0 raised to power 0, 1 raised to power infinity, and infinity raised to power 0. So we will discuss what is indeterminate form. What does it means? Indeterminate form means the form which value you cannot determine exactly. For example, 1 raised to power infinity. If I say this is indeterminate form, then I have to explain why it is so. We know 1 raised to power 1 is 1, 1 raised to power 2 is 1, 1 raised to power 3 is 1, 1 raised to power 10 is 1, 1 raised to power 1001. Even 1 raised to power minus 1 is also 1, 1 raised to power minus 10 is also 1. So from these observation we can say 1 raised to power anything, even infinity, should be equal to 1. But I am saying this is indeterminate form. Then what is the concept? Why it is called indeterminate form? What does it mean? Okay, so indeterminate form means I am not able to predict exact value of 1 raised to power infinity. So let us look why it is so. In 1 raised to power infinity, this one which is shown here, this one is not exact one. This is not exact one. This is your limiting one or approaching one or tends to one. Okay, so in detail we will see 1 raised to power infinity form. Okay, so let me erase. One raised to power infinity form. I am saying that if this one is exact one, if this one was exact one raised to power infinity, then no problem, no any doubt, its value will be 1 always. But when this one when this one is limiting one, there will be two cases. Okay, one should be 1 plus raised to power infinity and another should be 1 minus raised to power infinity. What is 1 plus and 1 minus? If we see on number line, let us suppose this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is minus 1, this is my 1, but approaching 1. How I can approach? I can approach in two ways, either from left side or either from right side. If I will approach from left side, it will be less than 1 value, approximately 1 but less than 1, just like 0.99991 maybe here, and this will be greater than 1, just like 1.00001. So there will be two cases, 1 minus and 1 plus. So 1 plus raised to power infinity and 1 minus raised to power infinity. And there is a concept in mathematics that if your base raised to power any exponent, if your base if your base value is 0 to 1, if your base value is 0 to 1, and then base raised to power exponent will be 0. If base is greater than 1, its value will be infinity, and if base is equal to 1, its value is 1. So in next slide I'm going to explain the all possibilities. So 1 raised to power infinity, 2 case, 1 plus infinity, 1 minus raised to power infinity, 1 plus, since base is greater than 1, 1 plus number, since base is greater than 1 and I am increasing power, so its value will be infinity, and 1 minus is less than 1 number, it is lying between 0 to 1 and I am increasing power, so its value will be 0. For example, if I take 0 0.1, 0 0.1 raised to power 1, 0 0.1, 0 0.1 raised to power 2, 0 0.1 into 0 0.1 is equal to 0 0.01, 0 0.1 raised to power 3, it will be 0 0.001, 0 raised to 0 0.1 raised to power 4, it will be 0 0.0001. So you can observe that since base is less than 1, 0 to 1, and I am increasing power, then the value is decreasing continuously. So 0 0.1 raised to power infinity will be approximately equal to 0. But if base is greater than 1, let us suppose 2, 2 raised to power 1, 2, 2 raised to power 2, 4, 2 raised to power 3, 8, 2 raised to power 4, 16. Since your base value is greater than 1 and you are increasing power continuously, its value is increasing. So this is the concept behind 1 raised to power infinity. Since 1 raised to power infinity, 1 plus raised to power infinity or 1 minus raised to power infinity, in 1 plus raised to power infinity value tends to infinity, and in 1 minus raised to power infinity value goes to 0. That's why it is called indeterminate form. You are not able to determine what exact value will be, either infinity or either 0. That's why it is called indeterminate form. Similar explanation will be for all forms. For example, next slide we will see infinity into 0. Let us take infinity into 0. If anyone asks from you that why infinity into 0 is not equal to 0, we have learned from our previous concept that something into 0 should be equal to 0, but here it is not. Infinity into 0 is not equal to 0. I am saying it is indeterminate form. You should ask a question, why it is indeterminate form. Many people cannot explain this. One important thing, 1 raised to power infinity. If you ask from anyone why 1 raised to power infinity is indeterminate form, most of the people will say since infinity is not defined. Since infinity is not defined, that's why 1 raised to power infinity is not defined. Okay, but you should ask next question, then why not 2 raised to power infinity is indeterminate form? Why not 3 raised to power infinity is indeterminate form? Why not 4 raised to power infinity, and so on? There should be a lot of indeterminate form. But why only 1 raised to power infinity? Explanation is, let us take 2 raised to power infinity. 0, 1, 2, 3. I can approach 2 in two ways, either from left side or either from right side. If I approach from left side, it will be called 2 minus, and if I approach from right side, it will be called 2 plus. So there will be two cases, either 2 minus raised to power infinity or 2 plus raised to power infinity. Here both the bases 2 minus as well as 2 plus are greater than 1. That's why both have value equal to approaching to infinity. That's why it is not indeterminate form. It is fixed. Its value will be infinity. That's why only 1 raised to power infinity is your indeterminate form. Very conceptual point. Make it clear. Okay. So I was discussing infinity into 0 form. Let us complete it in this lecture. Okay. So infinity into 0 is not equal to 0. It is indeterminate form. So explanation is, this 0, infinity into 0, this 0 is not exact 0. This 0 is not your exact 0. This is your approaching 0. If this was exact 0, its value will be 100% 0. No problem, no doubt. It will be not your indeterminate form. But what will happen if this is approaching 0? I am denoting it by this sign, arrow marking. It means this is your approaching 0. Let us go to the number line 0, 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2. I can approach my 0 from two ways, either from left side or either from right side. If I will approach from left side, it will be called 0 minus, and if I will approach from right side, it will be called 0 plus. So it will have two forms, either infinity into 0 minus or infinity into 0 plus. So what is the problem? Problem is 0 minus will be a negative number and 0 plus will be a positive number. Value will be less but sign will be opposite. That's why it will be minus infinity or it will be plus infinity. So again, you are not able to determine which value should be taken, either minus infinity or plus infinity. That's why it is called indeterminate form. Similar explanation is for all the 7 forms. Okay, and this is very important concept, since before solving any question related to limit, you have to first check whether this is a indeterminate form or not. Should I have to solve it or not? Then you have to find your indeterminate form, in which form it is. Okay, so I hope you will get my point. If there is any doubt or question, you can comment. Okay, thank you.